Today, we're going to be playing Two Truths and a Lie.
Well, why don't you go first?
All right, so today on the show, we're either going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch, fitness, or World War I.
I think I'm going to go with World War I as the lie.
No, it's fitness, because honestly, who cares about fitness?
That's a fair point. Well, guys, don't go anywhere because this is Accidentally Live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Accidentally Live. I'm Sydney Murdoch.
And I'm Parker Hutchins.
We're from TV1, and we're going to be taking over the show from now on, and we've got a great one for you today.
All right, Sydney. Now get out.
What?
Get out. It's the movie we're talking about in this week's entertainment news, The Scope.
In recent news, the wait is over for The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. The long-awaited video game was released on March 3rd along with the new Nintendo Switch. The beloved franchise has finally moved forward and has yet again surprised many fans. Stepping into a world of adventure, discovery, and exploration, this stunning new game will certainly blow you away with graphics and an amazing storyline.
Hungry, my man. So how long has this been going on? This thing?
The biggest horror movie of this year is Get Out. From the mind of Jordan Peele, Get Out has been #1 in box office for almost 2 weeks straight with a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Get Out is the story of an interracial couple visiting the white girlfriend's parents. The protagonist, Chris, is hesitant to meet the family, and he realizes that something sinister is happening when he is warned to get out.
And #1 in the music charts for over 2 weeks is Ed Sheeran with Shape of You, followed by Bad and Bougie by Migos.
Wow, that movie looks really interesting.
Yeah, you know what else is interesting?
What?
War. Today, on our brand new segment, History Lessons with Adam, we're going to be talking about what started World War I.
Welcome to History Lessons with Adam, the part of the show where I talk about an event in history after reading over the bullet points once. Today we're going to be talking about the assassination of Archduke Franz. I'm going to say Franz because of the band Franz Ferdinand. Anyway, it's much more hilarious than you'd think. This terrorist group of like 6 people is sent to kill this guy. Would you think that they could manage with 6 people against 1? The first guy chickens out. He just is like, no, immediately he's like, no, I'm not gonna have anything to do with this. The second guy, what'd he do? Oh yeah, he tried to bomb the car. It bounced off. He tried to take a cyanide pill. The cyanide pill was expired. Check the expiration date on your milk, kids. After that, he then tried to commit suicide again by jumping into a river, but it was like 6 inches deep. So they just arrested him. Like it was just like up to here. And then the rest of them just backed out. Like they just were like, we ain't having none of this. They just backed out. So then one of them decides to just go get a sandwich. Archduke's driver was just kind of panicked and then just drove right next to the sandwich shop. And so the assassin's like, what a coincidence, and pop, pop, killed him and his wife. And then World War I started. There's history. I'm your host, Adam Thomas. Thank you for joining me.
So, what class is Adam going to?
Well, Adam's usually our on-location reporter, but he is a little terrified of heights. So instead, I went down to private pilot.
Was it fun?
Yeah, I mean, I got to fly one of the flight simulators. You can actually get your ground training here at Riverside, which is pretty cool, especially for free. If you're interested, then stay tuned. Oh, hi. I'm at Private Pilot Ground School testing out my flying abilities. And they're not that good. I died. Can you roll the tape? Can you roll the tape, please? Thanks. Maybe that's how Earhart went down.
Basically in the program we get to learn how to basically fly the airplane, and we also get to use simulators in the classroom to show actual flight. It helps a lot because, I mean, if you crash, you can just press the reset button instead of actually crashing. Basically we learn weather patterns, how to properly take care of a plane, how to fly the plane, and we get to actually sit in the cockpit, learn what all the instruments say, what they do, and learn how the engine functions and see what makes it run. Well, if you want to fly manned aircraft for a living, you can take the private pilot knowledge exam, which can show you other job opportunities. You can be a commercial pilot, private pilot, you can fly for anyone you want to fly for. Or you can take the commercial drone certificate if you want to fly unmanned aircraft and find any job you want to do in that area. If you want to fly drones, you can shoot movies, you can do architecture, take shots of anywhere, contract yourself to do anything like that. We take job interviews, do job applications. We also do community service to help around and learn how to be a better person.
Well, planes are one of the coolest things ever, and I'm sure there are plenty of people interested in this program. I mean, you get to build drones and use plane simulators. This is Frank Horton. Hi, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming on the show today. So what would you say interested you in the private pilot program?
What interested me into getting this program is that I need it to get my actual license at 17. So it's mandatory by the FAA to get this ground school finished and accomplished before you get your license at 17.
Okay, that's really interesting. So what are you trying to get out of this class?
I'm trying to get out of this class the full fundamental and understanding of how a plane works, operations, safety requirements, and regulations that I need to follow. So that when I get to the workplace, I am not clueless of what I'm doing. I have to go back and relearn. I already know what I'm doing, so when I get to the workplace, I'm fully prepared for it.
Okay, well, now that kind of logistical part's out of the way, what would you say is one of the more fun parts of the class?
The best part of the class is the RCs. We get to build RCs for almost an hour out of every day in the class. So you actually get to build each part of the plane piece by piece and learn how it's used and how it works and what it does to the plane.
Okay, that's really cool. So each week, whenever we interview somebody, we usually play like a little game. This week's game is 2 truths and a lie. So we will each tell 2 things that are true about us and then 1 thing that isn't, and the other person has to try and guess what the lie is. So you can go first.
Okay. I want to be a pilot when I get older. I have 5 siblings in my house, and I don't want to fly a helicopter.
Okay. I'm going to say the helicopter one's the lie.
No, 5 siblings is a lie.
Oh, okay. I guess it's my turn then.
Sure.
I once shot my uncle with a BB gun from a tree that was in my front yard. I have a brother and 2 sisters, and I once tried to jump off the roof with an umbrella to see if I would float.
Probably jumped off the roof with the umbrella.
No, I did do that. I don't have any full siblings. They're all either step or half. Well, thank you, Frank, for coming to join us. It was fun having you here.
Appreciate it.
We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, Sydney is having a video for us.
Phones are a very distracting tool. The majority of teens average 9 hours a day on their phones. If you were to pay as much attention on what's around you as you do on your phone, how much better off would you be? How many more friends would you have? What would change? Learn more at www.forbes.com.
Hey, Sid, what are you doing there?
Giving myself an awesome tattoo.
Can I ask why?
Well, earlier I had this interview with Martin Benson. He's a local tattoo artist here in Tulsa. Let's just say it's a lot harder than it looks.
Oh, well, why don't we take a look then?
Okay, let's take a look.
I found out I wanted to be a tattoo artist when I was 14 years old under potentially the worst circumstances a person could figure that out. I grew up in a family where we very early on were stressed to have a vocation, whether it was joining the military or learning a craft. I wanted to draw things. In my hour, in my day, there wasn't actually a lot of market for people drawing things, less so now. So when I met a person who was a complete dirtbag, and I found out that he was a tattooer, I became very quickly invested in the fact that a person really could make a living drawing dragons and daggers and hearts and names. My first tattoo was also when I was 14 by said dirtbag. I was encouraged by my fact that my oldest brother had gotten a tattoo with our role model, and I went and pursued him, expressing my enthusiasm about art and his medium. There's no joke about how long a person sees himself as a tattoo artist if they're good enough to get through their first 10 years. If you're good enough to get through your first 10 years, then your retirement plan involves a shovel. There are many ways to prepare to get a tattoo, and there's very many ways to choose how you get your tattoo. It's important to research your artist. It's important to research their work, their disposition, their specialty, and their inclinations. It's very easy to do this. You can ask your friends who they've gotten tattooed by. You can research them on social media. It's also important to be very, very confident in your image. Because you're very enthusiastic and enthused about something doesn't change the fact that it might be a flash in the pan. There was the first time I ever tried to tattoo a person, and there was the first time I ever got paid. All of those things are very different. The first time I ever tried the tattoo was just like any other tattoo done in an apartment. It just didn't work. Now, my favorite story is the first time I ever got paid. I was working as an apprentice in a shop, and a guy came in, and he had a 30-year-old Tasmanian devil that he hated. And so when he came in and said, I really want this fixed, but I don't really have any money, the artist said, well, I'd be happy to fix that, and he quoted him a price. The guy returned with the fact that he had about 30% of that price in cash. The artist shrugged him off, said no, and then realizing that I wasn't immediately busy fetching coffee or tracing anything, said, oh wait, what about him? He goes, what about him? I said, well, he's an apprentice and so he can do it. And he was like, well, okay. And I went back to the artist and said, with stars in my eyes, do you really think that I can do it? Dismissively, he said, well, you can't. And that's the true story of the first tattoo I ever did for pay.
Wow, that really was interesting.
Yeah, I know. In your interview with Frank Horton from the private pilot class was super cool, and so was that game.
Thanks. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Next week, we're going to be talking about the new Power Rangers movie coming out. Adam is going to be back with another one of his history lessons, and Health Sciences is going to be our featured class.
We're going to say goodbye, but first a song by our very own TV1 student, Alexandra McManus, and her ukulele. See you next week on Accidentally Live.